You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's The 100 After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's The 100 After Show.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hello, hello.
I think I hear the theme music coming in right about now.
I feel like we should make our own.
Right? Welcome, guys, to AFTERBUZZ TV's The 100, Episode 12. We Are Grounders, Part 1. Hey, I like that, how it just kind of right after.
Yeah. Exclamation points.
I know. So, oh my God, guys, we're getting to like the end of the season. Oh my God.
So sad.
I know. There's one more left.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know, so much happened. I was super light. It was shorter, but it was still a lot.
That's true.
I was feeling it. I like this episode better than last episode.
Yeah.
It was less back and forth. It was just like a few storylines and boom, boom, boom.
Right.
You know?
Well, last episode was all about, setting it up just so they can just get all the action going in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah. And we started at the Ark, finding out there's only 51 hours left to live. Do your dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
There we go. 51 livable hours. What would you do? You know that song, If I Had 24 Hours to Live? Just think. Where would you go? What would you do? What would you do if you had 51 hours left to live?
On an Ark or on Earth?
Either. It's, I guess,
well, I mean, because we're a
compatible.
little more limited, because on the Ark, it's like, okay, I guess I'll hang out with my family. Or it's like...
But on Earth, like the way that the Earth is after this nuclear bomb, it's really like trees and wood, and you can just hang out with your family. It's not like that you go, I'm going to go play laser tag, I'm going to fly to Europe, and No. It's not that kind of party on Earth or on the Ark.
Fair enough.
So,
all right. What would you do?
I would do what Jaha did, get a nice 97-year-old, some kind of liquor, and get smacked. There you go. But yeah, so they find out they have 51 hours to live, and everyone's just trying to figure out what they're going to do with their time.
Yeah.
That's the Ark life.
I mean, it's totally understandable that you'd want to basically spend it doing not Ark things, not trying to figure out a way to, avert death or anything. At that point, you kind of just have to sit back and accept the fact that, like, we're done. And
yeah.
I like that Jaha was like, hey, each of us, we sent down a group of people, though it wasn't what we intended. They're our legacy, and they'll live on. They're doing good.
Jaha's always ready to die. Every episode he's ready to die. So anyway, back on Earth, we know that Clarke and Finn were captured.
Right.
Clarke again was captured again after she ran away, and we pick up with Bellamy, refusing to go after Clarke and Finn and Monty, because he believes they're going to die, and they have to save their gunpowder, they need to save their bullets, they need to save everything they need to save. What would you do if your people were out there and you're like, and you're like, no, okay. So if you were Bellamy, in other words, what would you do?
I think Bellamy handled it the best way he could. It's a hard situation because they don't really have a place to go. This is their last stance. This is their Alamo.
Exactly.
They're under attack from however many grounders that there are. They don't even know how many people they're up against. It could be thousands. It could be millions coming after them in this moment. So he's trying to be as prepared as he can.
I love the millions.
Yeah.
And then we get introduced to Tristan, who's a new grounder who's sent from the commander to kill the 100.
Right.
Now, I'm wondering who's this commander person, because the commander is like just never's been there. I thought Anya was the commander.
Right.
And now it's like introduced to more grounders, higher up grounders that just don't show their faces.
Right.
So I thought that was very interesting that Anya is kind of like overridden, and Tristan, this higher up, so to speak, Grounder is like sent there to take care of the small job that she couldn't take care of.
Right. So you kind of find out that they're all just like little platoons of soldiers, like the whole time, and it feels like a bait and switch because you think that they're the only ones that are hanging out in this area, but they're just a little bitty piece of this giant, what you could assume is an organization.
Yeah.
And which is nice because especially I would have been so bummed out if the show hadn't been renewed and they're like, oh my gosh, here's this whole giant big thing that we've set up. And then you're never going to see it. But now we get to find out.
I know. So Tristan comes down. He's sent to, like, you know, from command. And then we get reintroduced to someone who saves Clarke. Well, we think that he's going to kill Clarke, but actually saves Clarke and brings her to meet up with
Finn.
And it turns out to be Lincoln. What did you think about that?
I wasn't surprised.
Me either. I kept saying it's going to be Lincoln because who else likes the 100th that much that they would risk their life to save?
Yeah, seriously.
You know, but I'm like, isn't Lincoln supposed to be over, you know, across the water somewhere?
Yeah.
And then he's like, you know, my people are just doing the wrong thing, and I'm like, wow, he's a traitor for real. Would you trade your people like that, even if they were doing the wrong thing? Like if America was bombing Russia, this is not a statement by the United States of America.
Right,
you know, you have to make a
disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer.
The views are those of the hosts.
Yeah,
and
these
hosts
are not
alone,
the views of the United States of America. ...
Well, I feel like if we're putting it on a nationalism kind of thing, I think that patriotism only goes so far, and that like you as a citizen are responsible for keeping your government accountable for their actions, just in the same way that Lincoln, he feels that what his platoon or what the Grounders are doing to the 100 is
wrong.
It's wrong, and it's true. I mean, there is no reason that they should have been attacking these people. And I guess that now that we know that they are a part of this larger organization, I guess they're probably used to quote unquote invaders, and so maybe that's like their what is the word I'm looking at? Their default response. So I like the fact that he's dissenting. I kind of wish that more people would be
like him, or more like-minded like Lincoln.
Right.
So back at camp now, we see Murphy, who's on like a killing spree. He's been on a killing spree now for 3 episodes. Is it 3? Maybe 4?
Yeah.
And he's just killing everyone who is in charge of lynching him, which is the whole 100. I mean, he's just on a mission like everyone is going to experience what I experience, and I'm going to kill them if it takes the last breath in my body.
Right.
I mean, Murphy is a very special case, given that he was just such an asshole that everybody was like, kill him, but he didn't deserve it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I mean, like, the way he has this crazy vengeance, like, what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, the way he does it, it's kind of like he's been keeping a list. Yeah. And I feel like in the time that he was banished, he just spent every waking moment replaying that moment in his head, being like, this person tied the noose, this person kicked the thing underneath my feet, this person threw me down a hill, and like made a giant list of all the people he wants to get back at. And then when he finally came back to the camp, it was like, all right, now it's time to put this into action. All
right, speaking of action, let's talk about Maria Menounos' new book, The Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Exercise. Can you guys see that? Guys, check this out. It's really, really great. She talks about how she went from a size 14 to a size 2. I think you can get it at Barnes & Noble's, Target, any place that sells a book, it should be there. And those abs are great. So if I was you, I'd jump on it.
Check it out. That's some pretty good recipes. If you love salads and all the like delicious things, right?
Right. Okay, so let's jump back into the arc. So we see Abby. She is very like, she has this breakdown emotional moment. She's talking to Jackson, who's like her assistant. I mean, if you had 51 hours to live, would you be performing surgery on someone to you know, help them live? Or would you be...
Well, I feel like it was this big, desperate move where it was like her projecting her feelings of Clarke onto this kid. So she's like, oh my gosh, if I can save this one person, I have succeeded as a parent.
Do you notice how she looks like Clarke, the girl who's on her table? And I just thought, oh my God, she's looking at this girl like it's her child. It's not your child. It's not your daughter. But I mean, I just felt so horrible. Like, you know, she's like, she felt in that moment, I'll never see my child again, and I failed. I did all I did all of this for no reason. I really had a moment for Abby that I just kind of felt so sad, heart-wrenching moment.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a moment where you connected with her, because she does feel like Clarke blames her for her father's death still.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a heavy burden to keep upon yourself.
Absolutely. And then, I know this guy's just jumping back and forth, but that's the episode. And then, back to the ground, we see Murphy, who, he kills Miles. Poor young child.
Yeah.
And then Jasper catches him. And then Jasper's, like, trying to get out of that moment. And he pulls a gun. Murphy pulls a gun on Jasper. And you see, like, you know, it's like, uh-oh, nothing I could do. He radios Bellamy, lets him know what's going on in that split second. And in that split second, so much happens. Like, poor Jasper gets tied up. You know, Murphy's, like, taking the ship hostage. And it's just Jasper he's taking hostage. But Bellamy, for, you know, I don't want to say rare, but, you know, a moment of heroism, he decides to take Jasper's place in, you know, switch places so Jasper can be free. I think Jasper's been through enough. He's been stabbed. He's been, like, you know.
Nah, man, he needs to get, like, shot a couple more times.
Jasper's going through a lot.
He did start a war between the Grounders, and
he did. What was that? Remind me. There's so much going on.
Shot the guys in the trees.
Oh yeah, that's because he was paranoid. Wasn't he paranoid from the mushrooms or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't blame blame it on the no. Blame it on the shrooms.
But I was actually interested to see what you thought about that moment, because I felt like he was pulling a Jaha.
Bellamy?
Yeah, he was like, I'm a leader. No, well, I'm going to go potentially get killed to death. You guys keep handling business.
I know, but he went in there with the plan. He sent the Grandmaster herself, Raven, down to, like, you know, switch some switches.
Right.
You know, check some switches, switch some stuff. You know, he went in there with a plan, but I didn't think it was going to go as far as it did. As far as he has him put the noose around the neck. He puts, you know, Murphy puts him up on the stand. He's talking smack. You know, I was just like, dang, this is really going to go, like, as far until, you know, they finally get the door open. Murphy runs up to the top.
Yeah.
And he sees the gunpowder and blows a hole into the ship and runs out.
Right.
What
That's
did you
pretty
think
genius.
of it? Yeah, I didn't expect that. Truth. I didn't expect that at all. I thought he was going to shoot Bellamy, which I think was his plan initially.
Right. But he only had the one bullet. And
yeah.
So.
I mean, it would have killed him, but then everyone would have killed Murphy.
Right.
And then, yeah. So that was the smartest thing to do. But, I mean, I don't think it was that smart, because now I feel like the Grounders are going to get him, and they'll probably pick off the rest of his nails and eyelids, maybe. You know, like, he running out into the forest wasn't that good the first time. You know, I don't know. Maybe the second time's a charm, but I thought it was 3 times.
It's either the forest or immediate death.
Immediate death. He still has vengeance.
It's true. I really liked this sequence with Murphy and Bellamy. Just the whole the stare down between them, and the step by step of tie the noose, put it around your neck, stand on this thing, and every time he basically talked a little crap back, he being Bellamy, Murphy would tighten the noose a little bit more, and I thought it was a really, because it's not a big action scene, but it's really tense.
It is. I was like, ooh, are they going to make it in time? Is he going to die?
Right.
You know, he tipped that thing over. I guess it's, you know, like, all those little things do run through your mind as the viewer, like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
You know, so very true indeed. So back on the ark, we see Jaha with his 97-year-old Scotch, and he's watching, like, family videos of little Clarke and his son, who they killed off, like, so early.
Yeah.
That was sad.
R.I.P. Wells.
But he gets this bright idea, or epiphany, as I like to call it, when he sees Wells and Clarke talking about the Ark and the Unity Day, these, you know, flashbacks. And the kids are asking these questions about what keeps the Ark afloat and da-da-da-da. And then they bring up the clusters, which keep it out of the Earth's orbit or keep the Ark steady to some degree. And it was like, well, what would happen without the clusters? Well, the Ark would not be steady where it is out of the Earth's atmosphere or whatnot.
Right.
So I just think all these years and you guys didn't remember that.
Yeah. I mean, I actually thought about that a few episodes ago where I was like, why don't they just
take the Ark?
Take the Ark. The Ark is essentially a collection of ships. So
put
why
together.
didn't they just you know, and especially since they believed that the Earth at that time was uninhabitable, they could have been like, all right, let's land it anywhere because we're not going to hurt anybody.
Yeah, no, that's so true. But you know what, guys? It's better late than never. For lack of better words, it's better late than never. So, yeah, that's, you know, they get this bright idea, which we see. So back on Earth, as we like to see, we see Finn and Clarke and Lincoln. You know, Lincoln reunites Finn and Clarke, and they make safe passage into a tunnel, but it's not really safe because we learned about these Reapers.
Oh yeah.
The Reapers. What did you think about them?
I thought actually they are what I wanted to be the Grounders to be.
Oh, eating people?
Well, kind of. I mean, I expected some kind of like crazed, you know, cannibalistic, insane
people
group
still
of
alive, and you're just cutting limbs off when you're hungry.
Yeah.
I mean, so do you believe like when you eat chicken, you should keep the chicken still alive and just cut off limbs? Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking when you're like, yeah, just keep them alive until you really need them and you're hungry.
It keeps them fresh.
Weird. And that's what that is, weird.
Yeah.
So we see Finn and Clarke and Lincoln finally run into the Reapers in the tunnel. And Lincoln, his little selfless self, decides he's going to create this distraction and let Finn and Clarke, you know, get the message back to their people that Tristan is coming. Commander has brought the real dogs down. It's going down. It's going to be war. And we see them finally run towards camp. And Lincoln, I don't know if he's died, dead, made it. We shall see in the finale or maybe next season.
Maybe.
You know, at this point, he just had a free-for-all. He just pretty much told the Reapers, like, come, find me. Like, you know, chase me. So
he's a survivor, though. Like, I mean, he's been tortured, whipped, stabbed,
I know,
beaten. Like, so
and then he told them they're like, "You're soft."
Right.
Clarke was like, "Yeah, okay, here. Let me just pull out the knife that you got stabbed with, and then let me go ahead and just take this heated knife and just close that up."
Right.
I'm like, I would have passed out. I would have passed out or screamed or cried. I'm a punk.
Come on, Chloe. You'll never be a grounder like that.
I'll never be. You're damn right. I'll never be a grounder. But we see all of that go down. We see Finn, who ends up beating a Reaper to sleep. I don't think the Reaper was dead. I just think he beat him enough to get off.
Right.
Because, you know, why is it that certain people just have to be nosy? You know, no, seriously. Like, Lincoln pretty much gave them the clear passage, and Clarke was just like, oh, my God. They're alive. Oh my God, there's a guy in there. Like, no, if I'm in danger and someone's like, run for your life, I'm gonna run for my life. I'm not gonna be like, oh, is that alive? Who and what is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Side note, Chloe. Side note. But yeah, so I mean, Finn wouldn't have had to beat the poor Reaper to sleep.
I like how you're sympathizing with this, like,
because that was just extra, and you know, I just knew that was gonna happen. I'm like, like, why couldn't they just run? But, you know, I'm not judging. I'm just saying. But, yeah, so they finally run. They make it safe passage. They hear a bomb go off, which is Murphy's bomb. So then they finally know where camp is, and they make it back to camp.
Right.
And then we see, Lord have mercy, Bellamy, who's like, we're going to fight and stand, and this is us, and we're the grounders, and all that, all that jazz.
It was just like that.
All that, yeah, just like that. And then we see Clarke, who's opposing. Now, what do you do in a situation when you have two opposing leaders?
I mean, they both have really good points, and so that's the hard part. Is that Bellamy is right. That's where they landed. This is essentially the only home that they know on Earth.
Yeah.
And so it's something worth fighting for. But at the same time, Clarke is also right in that they know that there's an onslaught of warriors.
Yeah.
Like, they could barely handle one Lincoln. Think about all the other grounders that are going to kill the crap out of them.
So what would you do? Would you run or would you stay and fight?
I think it's best. I think the best idea is to get out of there.
Yeah, I concur. I thought she was gonna say stay. I'm like, no, deuces, bye. Water, people who like us, people who can help us, bye.
Right.
You can stay here, Bellamy, by yourself and fight. I'm just saying. Oh, back, rewind. Finn declared his love to Clarke.
Oh, yes.
And Clarke said, "You broke my heart, sorry." Is that the reaction you were looking for?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
I'm surprised.
Finn had all the chances in the world to tell her about Raven.
Mm-hmm.
And then even after Raven came, he was still dull, goo-goo-eyed towards Clarke, but he had his chance. Well,
I mean, do you think that when his girlfriend came down from the sky that he should have been like, well, babe, I found someone new. Sorry. Like,
no, he was already in the wrong at that point.
Yeah. So it's like, what do? You make it work with your girlfriend. But now that he's a free agent, I mean, you know what, guys? I want to hear what you guys have to say. How do you feel about, is there like a name they've created for Finn and Clarke yet?
No, because everyone wants Bellamy and Clarke to be a thing.
That's true. Well, let me know what you guys think. Like us, comment on YouTube, iTunes, everything. You guys always comment. I love you guys so much. But comment some more. No, seriously, I really want to know what you guys think about the fact that Clarke shut down Finn. I didn't think it was going to go down like that.
Really?
I didn't think
she was happen?
Well, because I didn't think that he broke her heart. I think that he had to do what was right, which was his girlfriend came down, unfortunately for Clarke, and the right thing was to make it work with his girlfriend.
No, the right thing to do was to break up with his girlfriend and be with neither of them. Because
I don't think any man in the world would do that and be alone.
Yes.
I think you're the rarest breed I've ever heard of in my life.
But I feel like the right thing to do would have been like, I mean, I get that he never intended to, he never thought he'd see Raven again.
Yeah.
So he was moving on. But he never once mentioned her. And the moment she came back, he realized that he had more feelings for Clarke than he did for Raven, but he had already slighted Clarke. So the grown-up thing to do would have been to tell Raven at that point, this is how I feel, and then apologize to Clarke and accept your fate.
If more men were like you, there'd be a whole lot more babies in this world. I'm just saying. But yeah, so let's jump to the arc for our conclusion of this episode. Jaha proposes bringing the arc to Earth.
Ooh.
But 95% of the arc is going to blow up in the means of trying to get the arc to Earth. What did you think about that? With 51 hours to live.
Right.
Maybe 50 or 49 at this point.
It's a mad dash. I thought it was a nice little moment for everyone, just because it's that last gleaming, shining hope.
Hope, yeah. They can bring some hope. Ooh.
But at the same time, knowing this show, it will probably fail.
Dang, no hope alive. And with that said, let's just jump into some predictions. Okay, so I went first last week. You should go first this week.
All right. My predictions are as follows. I think that they're going to make all the attempts in the world to get the arc down. We won't actually see it touch down because that would be more of a season 2 starter. But it'll be all the kinks and the figuring it out, and they're probably going to be just about to go down. And then, bam, cut to black. And for the ground, it's going to be bloodbath. I think the grounders are going to get there before they have the chance to pack and run away.
Okay, my predictions. I predict half of the 100 are going to run for cover, try to get to that water, and maybe a small handful will stay and fight. Or, like you said, maybe they'll be trying to pack and get ready, and the grounders will make their way to camp first. And as far as the arc, I think that we're gonna see them in motion of trying to make it to Earth, and somewhere somehow I think they're gonna get to Earth, and half the people are gonna die, and everything's gonna be destroyed, and they're gonna like open up the thing and be like, well, where are we? Have we made it? Who's alive? That kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it would be terrible if the Ark landed on the 100.
Interesting. All right. Well, there you guys have it. Those are our predictions for this week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, my name is Chloe Onyx. You can find me on Instagram at Chloe Onyx and on Twitter at Chloe Onyx11. Where can they find you?
Again, my name is Tauri Miller. You can find me on Twitter at TauriJ. That's TaurijAY. And I'm also on the Sword Art Online panel on Sundays.
All right, guys, make sure you check that out. We'll see you next week. Until then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.